Welcome to the Standuino frauAngelico tutorial video. The frauAngelico is a sample-based digital drum synthesizer and sequencer, based on Arduino and Standuino's frauAngelico synth. It comes with 12 pre-installed samples and offers a lot of exciting ways to tweak the sample's sounds. First, let's connect a power supply and some speakers to the frauAngelico and turn the volume trimmer clockwise for full volume. There are 4 trigger buttons on the face of the frauAngelico, which are used to play individual samples. Holding the shift button on the left side of the device triggers a second set of 4 samples. The samples can of course be freely assigned to each button. Then there are 5 rotary knobs which change various parameters of the sound, depending on which mode you're in. The first rotary knob, however, labeled sample rate, adjusts the global sample rate of all sounds, independent of the mode you're in. For now, turn it fully clockwise. In the middle we have 3 function buttons to enter the various edit and play modes. On the front side of the frauAngelico there are also 2 more buttons which are used for jump playback and to mute and unmute the metronome or individual samples. Alright, let's assign some samples to the buttons and play with them. First, go ahead and press the Edit Rec function button to enter edit mode. Press the trigger button and choose a sample for this button by turning the rotary knob number 5. Do the same for the other 3 buttons. Now hold the Shift button on the left side of the device and continue to assign samples to the second set of triggers. Release the Shift button and let's tweak the sounds. In edit mode, the rotary knobs 2 to 5 adjust the following parameters: bitCrusher effect, pitchDown, digital volume, and as already shown, the assigned sample. Let's tap our first trigger button and play with the various effects. Cool. Let's do the same with the second trigger sound. Apart from the basic sound effects, there is also a second sound shaping feature called microsampling. Microsampling lets you chop each sample into a small part and loop it, to create anything from short and sharp hits to long metallic drones. To enter microsampling, press the microsampling function button while in edit mode. The rotary knobs 2 to 5 will now adjust sample start point, sample end or cutoff point, the loop speed and the loop length. Let's press trigger button 2 to edit this button's sample. For this demonstration, I'll leave the start and end points at the beginning and end of the sample by setting knob 2 counterclockwise and knob 4 clockwise, thus playing the whole sample. Now let's turn knobs 3 and 5 completely clockwise to get a clean sound, and then let's lower them to apply some microsampling. Go ahead and experiment some more with different settings and samples. To exit edit mode, simply press the edit function button. When we're happy with our sample sounds, it's time to sequence them. Enter sequence mode by pressing the play stop erase function button. This will start the sequencer. Turn knob 2 labeled pad length completely clockwise to play the whole patterns. You can record and store up to 6 different patterns with 32 steps each. To record patterns, press the Edit function button while the sequencer is running. To hear the metronome, tap the right button on the front of the frauAngelico, which mutes or unmutes the metronome. To set the global speed of the sequencer, either use knob 3, labeled tempo, or tap the microsampling/tap function button. Now you're ready to record. The tap button's LED will blink with the first step, so start your playing accordingly. If you want to erase your recording, simply hold the Start Stop Erase button while the part is playing that you want to erase. Alright, now that we have our first pattern, let's record another one by turning knob 5, labeled Pad Select, to a different position. By rotating the knob, you can switch between 6 different patterns. You can mute the metronome at any time by pressing the metronome button. To add some more flavor to your performance, play around with the sample rate knob, the pad length knob and the mystery shuffle knob. You can also hold the jump button on the front of the frauAngelico and press the trigger button to jump and loop just one of the 8 beats of the pattern. You can also mute individual sounds by holding down the metronome button and pressing one of the 4 trigger buttons. To unmute the sounds, simply press the corresponding trigger button again while holding the metronome button. The frauAngelico has 4 different memory slots for your sounds and patterns. As soon as you change the active memory slot, your current slot is saved. This means that in order to save your work, you have to either switch to a different memory slot or reselect the current slot. To do either of this, press the 3 function buttons in the following order: Edit, then Microsampling, and then Play. Then press one of the 4 trigger buttons for memory slots 1 to 4. This will save the current slot and switch to the new slot or stay in the same one, depending on which trigger you pressed. As soon as the 3 function button LEDs are off, your data is successfully saved. Last but not least, you can also trigger sounds using a MIDI controller. To choose the frauAngelico's MIDI channel, hold one of the 4 trigger buttons while powering the device on, for channels 1 to 4. The 8 sounds of the current memory will be spread over each keyboard octave. That's it for the frauAngelico tutorial. As you can see, there's a lot of amazing functionality packed into this little box. For even more, check out the manual and of course experiment heavily. Thanks for watching this video and have fun with your frauAngelico, the digital drum synthesizer and sequencer by Standuino.